What the proponents of the charter claim that a mayor and city council will create a more accountable, transparent, and responsible government. What do you think about that? What do you have to say about that?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, you know, what do they mean by a transparent government? Our government is so transparent that I guess they're suggesting that there's a lot of things that go on under the table. And if so, I can't buy that. I simply can't buy that.
You know, it's very interesting, if you really think about it, when you go to that form of government, it actually is a bigger form of government. In other words, it's like today having our representatives at the State House. My concern is when you go to that where you've got one representative representing an awful lot of people, try to get that representative if you have an issue. Try to get your concerns really on the board. How many times I've called the State House, how many times I've called my senator, only to get some lackey telling me, well, I'm sorry, he's not available. I'll take your issue and we'll get back to you. Well, as far as the town government's concerned, I can go to down to town hall and talk to just about anybody I want to.
Right.
They may not be there, but I can tell you candidly, I've had people on the Board of Assessors get back to me, and I've had great responses out of that town hall. So again, saying it's transparent. I mean, this is about as transparent as you're going to get. You get some people meeting in a room, 7 councilors and a mayor in a room. Does that mean it's going to be open to all of us? I doubt that.
You know what, I think that there's a level of formality that's involved in town meeting, but there's much more formality in politics involved in a mayoral form of government. And by its nature, town meeting is a much more transparent form of government because everybody there has a chance to be heard and they have a chance to listen to their neighbors in the community.
And even those that are not elected to town meeting by their own desire, if they wish to come to town meeting, are recognized by the moderator. I've never seen a time when somebody who wanted to be recognized was not recognized. So that is even more transparent.
And that's the part where I think your point's well taken, because what it says when we're at town meeting, many times that area where the townspeople can be not necessarily the elected town officials, where they have a seating area, that's not usually filled. And I think that's one of the areas where I think we need to pull some more of those people in, because I think one of the reasons for pushing for this mayoral thing is because I hate to say it, but there's a lot of ignorance of what really goes on there. And I don't think it's on purpose. Everybody has a lot of things to do and that sort of thing. But again, they have a perfect opportunity to do that. And they don't have to wait for a town meeting. You can go to the select board meeting, or just many times you can go to meetings, just make a call and say, look, I have an issue and I need to deal with it. I think that's been well taken, and I think people have responded to it.
And with Channel 15 covering the select meeting, covering the school board meeting, covering the town meeting, more and more people are beginning to watch that. So if they have it jockey down to the town hall, in their living room, they can sit and watch the whole town meeting. My wife watches it so she knows when I'm coming home.
So we know, everyone's talked about what we understand how we all feel about the charter on a lot of issues. There's a lot to say about that. But I wonder what we could do better. Are there things that we could be doing better in South Hadley without the extreme change of this proposal?
Well, I think Mr. Paulin hit on it, that more education needs to be done to get out the fact that you can come to meetings, you can come to and should come to the meetings prior to town meetings, so you know the issues. You can watch it on the television, as I mentioned already. There's a lot of ways in the modern world that you didn't have when we all started many years ago. I mean, if you didn't get down there to listen to it, you didn't hear it, unless someone told you about it. But today,
There's also a possibility that what we might consider is having precinct meetings where, in fact, the individual precincts might be able to sit down with the town select board and bring up issues that may be specific to their area. Because then at least it adds a little bit of focus to solving some of the problems, at least bringing some of the issues up on the table. And then I think that would also force the town meeting members now for that specific precinct to get together and to actually participate in that. And I think we need more of that kind of involvement. I think that might be a way to make an improvement.
Also, considering that town meeting members are elected, maybe people should know what the individual town meeting members' attendance is like at these meetings, how they voted perhaps at these meetings. The community has a right to know how their elected representatives are actually representing them.
They're doing their job.
I think also we need to find a way to have the general public realize that they can actually call any of us
Yes.
anytime with any issue, and talk to us, that we can bring that information to town meeting. It seems like you can hear people talking, but they don't talk to the people, they don't talk, I mean, like, call us up, call me up, stop me on the street, stop me in a store, tell me what you're concerned about, and I'll do my part to bring that forward. That's one of the things I like about town meeting is I may be from precinct B, but I represent the town of South Hadley, and I'm willing to bring whatever I can to the plate for everyone.
And I think making telephone numbers and that kind of thing available, I would have no problem at all just saying to the precinct that I certainly represent, if you have an issue, then call me. Call me. And if we do a good job of making sure that we're advertising what town meetings are going to be about, what are the issues, the key issues out there, I think we could get a little more responsiveness from the townsfolk themselves. And then that would enable us to really attack issues that are important in a more broad-based term than they might today. Because in many cases, I actually go out and talk to people myself, in particular in my neighborhood, to find out what are some of the key things that any concerns they might have. Again, the other thing is, unfortunately, we don't have the kind of newspapers we once had. There are not as many. So again, how do we communicate? And I think the cable station is just a great resource. And I'm sure there are others. There are other ways to communicate.
You also can put a lot of information on websites.
Yes, that to me, that's great. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that tweaking it is better than getting rid of it.
Yeah.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
I mean, you don't throw out the bathwater, and a baby.
I think that the minority report to the charter proposal goes a long way towards satisfying some of those concerns. And that minority report calls for a town manager, a slight reduction in town meeting members, but it's a very professional solution to the problem, and who knows, that minority report may someday come to fruition. I hope it does.